How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. Are you all
COVID-free?
How are your lungs?
Hang about.
There's charming.
I'm a little bit post-COVID-y, but not. I'm okay. I've discovered that having COVID for the first time is a little bit like when people have children late in life.
It's all they talk about.
Oh my God. Constantly. Just walking around going, wow, this is fascinating. I'm finding it difficult to walk upstairs. Who knew? Everybody knew, Lee. It's been 2.5 years.
I thought you were going to say that it gave you an opportunity to talk about your poo and lots of different and its varieties.
I don't need an excuse to talk about my poo.
It's nice that after a break we just returned
Subject normal.
as your mother would say.
So,
wow, how long's it been?
it's been a while. I mean,
we've been inundated with people going, when are you coming back? When are you
do you know what
it's
I
been
found?
painful dealing with all that email.
I found it strange that people have been continuing to listen to us, in the sense that
I haven't even.
we get downloads every week. I'm like, what? We're not making any content. How can they be? Oh yeah, there's old stuff to listen to. There's 100 episodes. Yeah, welcome to 101, everybody.
This is a podcast in which two friends talk about the pleasures, absurdities, and imperfections of being human. I'm Simon Ellis.
And I'm Lee Miller. Welcome to Midlifing.
It's been what? Has it been like 4 weeks or
Might
something?
have been a little bit. I don't know. It's tricky because
Oh,
your
longer.
life has been very complicated in that you went to Italy, then you were settled in Italy doing some work, then you went to Rome to do something else, then you came...
Which is also in
I
Italy.
know it is, but what I mean is it's not where you were aiming to be, if that makes sense. You know,
That's
so
true. That's true.
You did internal travel in a country, and then you came back again. And in the interim, I've been to Lisbon to mop up a flat.
Oh God, that's right.
Yeah, and then
So that was pre-COVID for you.
that was
wasn't it?
pre-COVID. Yeah, I came back.
And so yes, so you're catching up on the news is that Lee finally
Succumbed.
and Bob got
Yeah, we succumbed.
yes.
And do you know what? On the day that I took the test, I sat down after I looked at the 2 red lines and I had a little cry. And Bob came in and she said, What's wrong, sweetheart? I went, I'm not a medical miracle. I thought I was one of the people who wasn't going to catch it. So I got really upset.
I mean, my when I was chatting to my uncle, Uncle Rod Ellis Pegler, who's a infectious diseases specialist, he said, which I thought was shocking,
Yeah.
that 40% of cases don't have any symptoms. And that blew my mind, partly because I think, how do they know that?
Yeah.
But that is an extraordinary number
That
because
is.
I'm suspecting that I've probably
Had
had
it,
it
yeah.
and just didn't
Yeah.
know.
I wonder if this is not my first rodeo, but it's just the first time that I had the symptoms.
Yeah.
Because clearly I'm not a
Oh,
medical
I was so sorry to. No, you're not. You're not.
But do
I'm
you know
sure-
what Bob
I mean,
told
this-
me?
you know.
She said, don't worry about not being a medical miracle. Perhaps you could be a super spreader instead. Which just cheered me right up. It's like, oh, good, I can still be special. And off I went into the world, mask
doing your thing for
coughing
humanity.
everywhere I could, licking doorknobs. I didn't. I stayed inside.
Yeah,
for 8
I
days.
did see some people licking some doorknobs the other day, and I wondered, yes, that's that kind of person.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I guess we don't really have to try that hard to leave our germs around, do we?
No,
Like we're very good at it,
absolutely.
human beings.
Absolutely. One of the things that I've always been impressed about Lil for, that's the bad sentence structure. One of the things that has always impressed me about Lil, there we go, that's how I was trying to say it, is that whenever she
Nice.
sneezes, she always used to, when I saw her do it, oh, this is a sentence that's just going right off the rails, but she would catch it.
You should try that in another language. All that kind of past tense shit. That's that would have beens
Oh,
and.
don't get me started. We're in past tense in Portuguese at the minute, and I'm crying. It is so hard.
And you also did that very English thing, which is to say, I am crying, because most Latin languages, they wouldn't say
Exactly.
that. They wouldn't use the gerund.
Exactly.
Anyway,
now
tell me what's so amazing about... tell me. I want to know what's so amazing about Lil.
She always caught her sneezes in the crook of her elbows before it was cool. And I remember thinking, wow, what a curious way of sneezing. And then after I think I may have asked her, why do you sneeze into your elbow? And she said, and it's not on my hands, and I don't have to wipe my snot on everybody. It's like, what? It's a revelation.
Yeah, I actually am still shocked at how many people, even after a pandemic, still cough by putting their hands in the vicinity of their mouth.
Yes.
It's so shocking to me. How could you miss that memo?
Yeah. I'm a t-shirt cougher, sneezer. I just stick my entire head into my t-shirt now and just cough in there. I feel it's safest.
You mean you pick up your t-shirt to your face?
Yeah, exactly.
It's because you're wanting to show your six-pack to the world, isn't it?
My barrel.
Roll it out, baby, roll it out.
I've invested in more storage capacity. I don't want a six-pack, I want a full barrel. I got quite skinny during COVID. I lost my appetite, something chronic. And I looked at myself in the mirror and was like, ooh, you need to tub up, kiddo.
But you got it back.
A little bit, yeah, thank goodness. Mostly because I ate an entire pack of, not an entire pack, half a tub of Ben and Jerry's last night. And this is coming right out of the episode. And they got the most appalling diarrhea within about half an hour. I gave myself the ice cream shits.
You got to keep that in. I mean, that's newsworthy.
Yeah, people need to know. Speaking of diarrhea. I texted you and said, I'm watching a film that you're never allowed to watch because it's too terrifying.
Yes.
A film called Terrifier 2. Ladies and gentlemen of the midlifing family.
I love that they made a second. Please.
Oh, if you haven't, ladies and gentlemen of the midlifing family, watched Terrifier 2, please go and watch it. It lives up to its name.
Is it better than the first?
Yeah, the first was pretty graphic and pretty gruesome, but the second one is vile. Vile. Oh. There is it's within the first 10 minutes there is a little, a young female murder clown who stands in the middle of a laundrette.
Did you say clown?
Yeah.
Did you say clown?
A little female murder clown stands in the middle of a laundrette and then has this geyser of black diarrhea shoot out of her all over the floor, and then she just does a little giggle and waves, and it's horrifying. It's a brilliant film if you like that kind of thing, which I do. So you're still in Italy again?
I am. I'm in a place called Nuoro, which is
Nuoro.
Yes, which is nice, which is spelled Nuoro, and it's in the middle of Sardinia, up in the mountains. And we're in the theatre here for a few weeks. And so I've come from... Yeah, so it's... And autumn happened yesterday. I mean, it's like we jump cut into autumn. We'd gone from high 20s. I packed all this clothing, which I just hadn't been using, thinking, am I going to get to the end of November? I'm never going to use it. And then just bucketed down yesterday and the temperature plummeted. Yeah. And... so I got to wear my clothes.
Oh, nice! That's lovely for you.
Very happy about that.
Oh, I'm happy.
Yeah, and then I did take a, as you said, I did take a trip for a week to Rome. I took the ferry, which was exciting.
Yeah, I bet.
Although not as rough as it was just dead calm, and so it was a little bit like the sound of chick, 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 chick all night, and there was no movement in the boat whatsoever, both ways.
Did you do that on purpose? Did you reference an Antipodean film just so that I could go, all right, Nicole Kidman?
Which film are you talking about?
You just said dead calm.
Did I say dead calm?
It was dead calm. I was like, Sam Neill, Nicole Kidman, I'm right with you. Billy Zane's washes up.
That's right. And then, anyway, and there were these BMXs on the...
for listeners who are not familiar with Nicole Kidman's oeuvre, that's a reference to BMX Bandits, one of her very very early films. When she had her natural hair and natural face.
And she actually looks just the same as she looked. That's some interesting. She still looks the same now. She doesn't. She doesn't. If you squint.
I mean,
if you squint. One of the other fantastic things about Lil is, apart from her sneezing technique,
excellent sneezing technique. Thank
or
you.
sneeze catching
Yes.
technique, is how little she likes Nicole Kidman.
I remember.
She cannot watch a film with Nicole Kidman in it. Like, she just. But anyway, so there's the pronoun that often gets used in front of the word Nicole, of course, is our. Our Nicole.
Oh, your Nicole. You can keep her.
And Lil always goes, she's not mine. Not my Nicole.
No.
Yeah, poor Nicole. So yes, BMX bandit. Anyway, on the ferry,
Dead calm.
yes, I spent it dead calm, nice, and I spent a week in Rome in the what's it called? The old city? No, it's called the ancient. No,
Decrepit. Just thinking of words that might capture it.
I'm going to find
Legendary.
Keep going, keep going. You're doing great.
Antiquarian.
It
Despondently
is,
old.
That's actually the same. Eternal.
Oh, it's...
Do you know? I heard that because
3 a.m. 3 a.m. eternal. There you go, bit of a song for you. I think that's KLF.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Thank you. Was it KLF
I think
again?
it is. That's the second KLF deep cut we've had.
Yeah, we might have to start paying royalties towards to KLF.
Ah, fuck it. They'd only burn it.
Which we can. And our budget is massive, so we can easily afford it. The
Eternal City.
The Eternal City, and wow. I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time in Rome. I've spent, maybe visited twice. The first one was when I was 23, and I, stole the sheets from the place I was staying, and then dressed up in a toga and at the Colosseum.
Oh my lord!
They were telling that. I know, trash tourist, and I didn't do that this time. You'll be pleased to
Congrats.
know. Partly because I would have been stealing sheets from Lil's bed, which
I'm guessing that would be like...
doesn't have the same appeal.
Simon, have you taken our bedding for the...
No.
No? What are you wearing then?
Well, I thought it would be great to go to my Italian lessons wearing a toga.
The Eternal City.
The Eternal, and it's there are a lot of cars. Wow,
Oh, really?
it's really intense. Yeah. I don't think I've ever been in a city where I've felt the sort of oppressiveness of oppressiveness. Anyway, how oppressive cars are.
Yeah,
and
even more so than London.
Oh God, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because I just think about London as a place you don't want to drive. If that makes sense.
Why would you have a car in London?
I don't know, but I don't really understand why you would have a car in any capital city
Well,
or
Rome.
any city. Yeah, Rome particularly. I've only been there the
curious
once,
thing
but
about
it
it-
didn't make me think of a place that I'd want to drive.
No, it can. But there's, there are only 3 metropolitan lines, and it turns out the reason is because every time they try and build another one, they basically they dig it into some ruin that's they can't.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, they're stuck with this. I mean, it works when it's if you're on the line, it works, the metropolitan. But yeah, so I did an Italian intensive, which was notable. Well, actually, for 2 things. One is I dreamed in Italian for the first time.
Oh my gosh!
It wasn't. It was the funny thing about the dream was it was pretty lowbrow in the sense that I was just trying to get keys from someone, a friend in New Zealand who clearly, in my dream, spoke Italian but doesn't speak Italian. And it was just an exchange about keys. I mean, it was the most banal thing. But the funny thing was that in my dream, I was thinking that this person was just being polite to me in how they were speaking Italian to me. So I had self-consciousness in my dream about how I was speaking Italian and how they were speaking to me.
Oh,
Human beings.
oh wow! That sounds intense.
It was intense. And it was also intense because of also being in that language 5 hours a day. It was really, really knackering.
Yeah,
But you're fun.
yeah. And how's Lil settling into Rome?
She is... settling in. I mean, she's got a routine.
Yeah.
She's close to a gelateria. She's found a good
I did see
couple
that
of pizza
photograph.
joints.
Oh, wow.
I keep sort of marveling at her courage, really. Like it's it's a pretty big thing to do
It's a huge
as
thing to do.
40 whatever-year-old, you know.
Yeah, I remember not fully appreciating my parents' courage to just because they did it in their mid-60s when they just went, okay, we're going from being in two places where it's effectively we will go and spend the winter months. I can't even remember which way around they did it, but they would spend time in Portugal and they would come back to the UK. And then when they I remember them reporting the conversation back where they were sitting on their balcony drinking red wine, and my dad saying to my mum, "Why exactly is it that we go back?" And my mum saying, "Because you really like it in England," and him saying, "No, I don't. I really like it here," and she saying, "I really like it here. Why don't we just not go back?" But so they were in their mid-60s at that point, and I think there was I don't, because they did it not like Lil, where they just literally up sticks and moved.
Yeah, she jump cut for sure.
Yeah. So theirs was more of a slow fade, but watching them, you know, now in their early 80s, still navigate this alien culture, I just think, oh my God, there's so much that they've let go of that is familiar at a point in their life where usually people would be doubling down on familiarity.
Habits and familiarity, yeah exactly.
Yeah. And
no, but I imagine... Oh, God.
No, I was just going to say, and it has changed them. They're much more open. They are more... they're way more tolerant than they were when they were either living in the UK or living between two places.
And do you think that's just because of the people they're around, or the fact they're encountering difference all of the time?
I think it's because they're constantly encountering difference, and the things that they think they understand, they don't understand. And I sometimes hear my dad get frustrated about, you know, like asking somebody to come and do some work and them not coming on the day that they said they were going to come, or even the month that they said they were going to come. And him letting go of that sense of, well, this is how the world works, and just going, oh, of course, Portuguese time. And then just shrugging. And so him becoming a bit more Portuguese in his shrug. Sorry, I interrupted you. You were going to say something about...
No, I just think it's beautiful because it's there's something about... I was just thinking that I can imagine that they've also probably, I mean, we can never know this, but I imagine they've also elongated their lives in a way. You know, this sort of sense of that, by that shift into a sort of forced openness, as opposed to a kind of closing down as you're getting older and older, the way in which our lives tend to narrow. It's like the attention of our lives seems to narrow as we get older. And so what a thing to do at that age. It's they've basically sort of dropped a grenade into their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I told you that they want to build a new house, didn't I?
You did tell me
Which
that.
is just like, come on, you're in your early 80s. And I talked to them, I think it was last week, and I said, that stupidness has stopped. And Mum went, oh, yeah, we're not going to build anything new. No, we're just looking for something that needs a bit of work doing on it. Like, what the fuck?
They're looking for a fixer-upper.
Yeah. I said, you've got a house. She went, yeah, I know, but it'd be fun, wouldn't it? It's like, no, I can't think it would be. But I also appreciate that sense that they're not winding down. They know they're going to stop, but then I guess...
It's really inspiring. It's so inspiring.
Well, much like Lil, just kind of doing the whole jump cut.
One of the things about the Eternal City is they don't seem to, over the course of millennia, they don't seem to have grown out of Dick and Ball's graffiti.
Right.
It blew my mind. Like, it's extraordinary. I guess I'm assuming I'm looking at reasonably recent graffiti. It's not, hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
But it's very odd.
Just lots of cocks and
very
balls.
Odd. Yeah, and then, and also sort of, I think of it as slightly more violent, which I guess I've seen in London, but I'm never quite so aware of it, of defacing models, women models, on in advertising.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, but maybe I just I sort of got a little bit tuned to it there and then started noticing it,
Yeah.
classic confirmation bias kind of thing. But I don't know, but the Dick and Balls graffiti, I was staggered. I really was. I was like, wow, we didn't get quite, like,
that
'cause I
memo
don't
didn't
imagine
land.
it's women. I don't imagine it's women doing that. It's men going, I know what, I've got some graffiti. What should we do,
Yeah. Are they well rendered? Are they impressive?
No, not pretty scrappy.
I
Pretty scrappy.
I only remember one Dick and Balls bit of graffiti in Lisbon, which was a wheat paste sticker on the side of a gallery, and it was quite.
It was a what? It was a what paste?
Wheat paste. So wheat paste graffiti. Have you come across this as a concept?
No.
Okay, so
When they're stuck on.
yeah, basically what will happen is people will make these sort of. They will do illustrations on paper, and then they effectively paste it up on the wall. The
Flour
way
and
people
water,
do,
kind
yeah,
of.
exactly, wheat paste. So it's that way that you used to flyer in the olden days. In fact, I actually remember being paid to do that. Oh, I can't remember who paid me to do it. I was working for a music venue. God, this was a long time ago. And I would go.
You were
out,
pasting up their publicity.
I would go out and wheat paste their flyers around town. Was it around? I think it was around.
Because does wheat paste, does that mean when you put the paper on, then you put glue over the
So
top
yeah,
of
so
it
you kind of
effectively?
you do a slop on the
You
back,
sort of slap it
stick it
on.
on the wall, and then you slop it over the top, so it seals it to the wall.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there are
exactly. It's
there-
it's bloody as old as the hill.
Oh,
Isn't
absolutely, and it's a right bugger to get off the wall, which is why venues like to do
it?
it.
Love it.
But it was side issue. There was a musical act in the church across the road from us last night, and our church, as if I worship the church that Jeffrey P's on is. So I think of it as our church. Regularly opens its doors to to secular music. So it will host concerts. But there was a performance on last night, and I noticed that it was being advertised probably since the late summer. And I just suddenly realised that all of the advertising for that gig and lots of other things were laminated. So they were like,
Oh.
yeah, so laminated and stuck up. And I just was thinking,
Wow.
have we not got the memo about plastic? And that's just reminded me of the value of wheat paste.
So easy.
Yeah, but wheat paste I know would be really frustrating because it's like it glues up, but it also it sort of makes everything waterproof. It's brilliant. Use that.
Yeah. But also, it's still really common in Italy for sure.
Yeah.
Because you see those sort of big walls where they've just been, and then you can just see layers and layers and layers of advertising.
And then eventually you just rip them all down. Yeah, for sure. It's great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's basically like a New York flat. Yes.
well, yeah. So I did see a cock and balls
A pair.
on a wall, and I took a picture of it. It was so beautiful, and I will send it to you. Perhaps it will make it into the show notes.
We could put it on Instagram.
We could. Oh yeah, we could. It says Penis Hilton inside of it. It was from a few. It was from a few years ago, and it was quite lovely. It's quite beautiful. Anyway, it's totally tangent.
Well, that's all we've had today, though. Really.
Oh yeah.
It's just catching up.
It
We're just
is.
catching up with each other. I've got lots of things to talk about, but they're all for another time. They're not. This just doesn't seem right.
No.
Doesn't seem
Give
right
me the
to,
headlines. I'm excited to know what we've got. Like previews of coming attractions.
Okay. Well, first one is tax.
Tax. Wow.
I learned something the other day, which I thought you would be very interested in, but that is another.
Okay, I want to.
And then also another one about limits.
Limits, tax and limits.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And another one about volunteering.
Oh, okay, that's going to make me feel bad.
And then another one about mistakes.
Yeah, my mistake is that I've not volunteered for anything.
Yes, there you go.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
Right.
So yeah, that's a little preview of episodes to come. Well, we can't promise that.
I think we can.
And how are you all, dear listeners? I hope that you've enjoyed your break from midlifing and that you're ready and raring. I'm speaking to them directly, Lee. And it just doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't. Pouring our words into people's lug holes and then being aware of it, it's just odd.